will speak if we don't? Who will speak if we don't? Who will speak so that voice will be heard? Oh, who will speak if we don't?
This is from the Bureau of Investigative Journalism's website. Picture this. 3 children who stand surrounded by debris of their former home a few hours after it was obliterated by a Hellfire missile fired from a CIA drone in the early hours of August 23rd, 2010. When photographer Noor Bayram reached the children a few hours later, he said the children were shocked, but had at least survived the blast. Their father, Bismillah, their mother, and the 8 and 10-year-old brothers had been blown to pieces by the strike. The orphaned children and their dead loved ones became the latest civilian victims of a U.S. war against Pakistani militancy in which they had played no part. The second account is from the Foundation for the Fundamental Rights website. Sanula John, age 17, the same age as my student over here, in the same grade, 11th grade. A pre-engineering student in a government degree college, Morali. On the 26th of December 2010, after college, he and a couple friends from college decided to go to Morantia, a nearby city. It was a nice day, and driving to another town with friends was enjoyable. It was on a road to Morantia that a missile fired from a drone burnt the car down. No one survived. Karula John, Sanala's elder brother, reached the scene after he heard about the attack. All that was left of his dead brother was a half-burnt college ID. Karula not only lost his brother, but a classmate, as both were in the same class. Sanula was the bright one of the family and used to help Karula in his studies, but not anymore. Today, Karula is pursuing his brother's legal action against those who wrongfully executed his brother, and he is determined to get justice one day.
Dear friends, let us open our hearts to hear the words of the prophet Isaiah. See, the Lord's hand is not too short to save, nor his ears too dull to hear. Rather, your iniquities have been barriers between you and your God, and your sins have hidden God's face from you, so that God does not hear. For your hands are defiled with blood, and your fingers with iniquity. Your lips have spoken lies, your tongue mutters wickedness. Their works are works of iniquity, and deeds of violence are in their hands. Their feet run to evil, and they rush to shed innocent blood. Their thoughts are thoughts of iniquity. Desolation and destruction are in their highways. The way of peace they do not know, and there is no justice in their paths. Their roads they have made crooked. No one walks in them knows peace. Therefore justice is far from us, and righteousness does not reach us. We wait for light, and lo, there is darkness. And for brightness, but we walk in gloom. We grope like the blind along a wall. Groping like those who have no eyes. We stumble at noon, as in the twilight, among the vigorous as though we were dead.
I have a little homework. This is going to be interactive. If you have seen the film Zero Dark 30, please raise your hand. One. Oh my. Apparently we're boycotting the film directed and sponsored and written by the CIA, but I'll tell you why I feel that's profoundly a mistake. We've all got to go see it. We can't refute the lies in this film, which has now, as of yesterday, been nominated for Best Picture and is going to be a big issue at the Oscar ceremony in LA in March. We're going to be there protesting it. But it's important for all of us to see it and grapple with the issues in this film. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, I don't know, buy group tickets. Don't give too much money to go in. Maybe we'll get a pirated copy and get it around. I know you don't want to pay money to support this. On the other hand, millions and millions of people around the globe are seeing this film, and they are being shown that the CIA's view of the world, that we are the good guys and all Muslims are the bad guys, is true. Because after all, it's a very good filmmaker, and a woman is the director. And a woman is the CIA agent who's the hero. This is how clever, nuanced, and crafty these forces have become in propagandizing us. So I'm serious. I have a flyer about the film. We're distributing it, that is World Can't Wait, around the country at these showings, knowing that we're running into a lot of people who will watch this film and be taken in. We've got to fight the bamboozlement. I'm really serious about that. The people seeing this film are the ones who are going to be lured into the military, lured into the CIA, which are now becoming very much the same thing, as the CIA goes mainly operational and is paying a lot less attention to actual intelligence, even though some of us would have disputed that for the last few decades anyway. Go see Zero Dark 30, and then let's write each other about it, and let's figure out effective ways of stopping this kind of propaganda from really influencing people. Do you know one of the most pernicious lines in that film is when Obama has taken office and a CIA agent is complaining to his superior about interrogating prisoners and how are they going to find Osama bin Laden. And he says, oh yeah, what do you want me to do, go to Guantanamo and try to talk to some guy who's all lawyered up? This took 4 years for people to even have habeas corpus rights in Guantanamo. Right. And the idea that even now under Obama, these prisoners are all lawyered up is an insult to anybody's intelligence who knows anything about this. Our lawyers, I don't know if we have any here today, that are fighting in Guantanamo under Obama in the last 2 years have even more restrictions on seeing their clients. They have to go to a special room to read papers in Washington. They can't even take notes about those papers. They are not free to defend their clients, and their clients aren't actually free to know fully what the charges are. And this is from a CIA-initiated, sponsored program of torture that, as we all know, then morphed into so-called enhanced interrogation techniques. Just think about that one for a minute. The whole world knows it's torture, but the Obama administration included refers to this term, enhanced interrogation techniques, as if it's some kind of exotic breast surgery or it's making your teeth look better. Seriously, they thought about this. This is what propaganda is about. And here we are looking at all the effects: the drone war, the indefinite detention, the kill list, the signature strikes, the targeted killing of civilians, now being more and more in the hands of the CIA, and that's why I'm happy to be here today. I'm glad people have revived the protest of the CIA that we began in the 60s and 70s, when some of you remember in 1975 the Church Commission severely restricted what the CIA could do, and this was in effect somewhat until the Bush regime came along and wiped it all out. And the CIA after that has been virtually written a blank check and a blank ticket for getting away with and doing whatever it deemed necessary to protect the empire. Our main problem is the empire, and that we're living in a country that seeks domination against most of the rest of the world and needs this huge military in order to keep that in place. When we say the world can't wait, it is not hyperbole, my friends. This is real. There are a lot of...
I would remember, if I could please, 3 of the prisoners at Guantanamo: Mani al-Utabi, Yasser al-Zarani, and Abdul Ahmed. In 2008, everyone may remember the news story. In 2008, we were told that there were triple suicides, a simultaneous suicide, 3 of them at Guantanamo. And we were told that this was, the head of Guantanamo told us that this was an act of asymmetrical warfare by highly trained al-Qaeda operatives. A few years later, however, 4 military whistleblowers came out. And now we are led to believe there is very good evidence that in fact those 3 men, who were all cleared for release, they were all found innocent, they were all cleared for release, but they were tortured to death at a black site, possibly a CIA black site, at Guantanamo itself, called Camp No. So we beg you, brothers, to reconsider what you're doing. We beg everyone in the CIA to reconsider what you're doing, because you are bringing about, as Cheney said, we would go to the dark side. We've gone into the dark side and we've lost our way. We can't seem to see our way out, but it is not in weapons and torture and propaganda. So I wish you would look at these American citizens for you from the Midwest, the East Coast, who've been on a 6-day fast. This is the last day of their fast. This is the last demonstration they'll do. They'll go back home and we will come back together as often as we can to remember the 166 prisoners who are still at Guantanamo. And we hope you remember us at some point. Know that you're in our prayers. Thank you.
I'm inspired to be here today. You give me the energy to continue on in my activism, to continue on going against, working against drones, and continue on to close and call for an end to Guantanamo. I really wanted to give mad props, a big shout out to those who are on a hunger strike. I did it 4 years ago. I have to say it was the most difficult hunger strike I've ever been on, because you are on your feet. You are working it, and it's hard to do that in this cold weather, and you're not eating, but you have each other, and that community is so important and it's so powerful. So how did we all end up here? What is our story as anti-drone activists? This story stars Father Louis Vitelli and Father Jerry Zawada. So I know there's some truth to it. It's probably been embellished over the years, but how did we get here as anti-drone activists? So the way it starts is Father Louis and Father Jerry Zawada were out in the Nevada desert at the Goddess Temple, which is organized by Candace, and they saw this thing flying in the air, because it's right down the highway from Creech Air Force Base, and they said, what is that? What is going on over there? We know that there's there's something happening down there, because right down the highway is the Nevada test site. But what's happening there at Creech Air Force Base? And so they went, they investigated, and they found that there are these UAVs. It was the primary headquarters for flying drones over Afghanistan. So they went, they investigated, and so there begins our story. Kathy Kelly, Brian Terrell, Voices for Creative Nonviolence, started protesting at Creech Air Force Base, and so we've been, as Code Pink, we've taken up that journey to say no to drone warfare, no to CIA drone strikes, and I'm from the San Francisco Bay Area, so I'm so excited to be with you here and up and down California, in Nevada, in the Southwest. We, just as many of you here today, take action at Air Force bases. And not only that, California has most, if not all, the manufacturers who make these killer drones are based in California. So our friends in San Diego, in the month of April, will be holding I believe it's a 3 or 4 day action at General Atomics, and we want you to join us if you can. I know it's far across the country, but if you can join us, that would be awesome. So,
Code Pink DC. It's wonderful to meet so many new people, and I'm glad to be out here. So at Code Pink DC, we've been full steam ahead trying to take down the nomination of John Brennan and expose him for the war criminal that he is. We do not want him to be the head of the CIA, and we do not want him involved in our government in any way. So we're going to take the story of drone strike victims to his front door, literally, on Tuesday night at 7 p.m. We are showing up at John Brennan's house with a candlelight vigil and huge pictures of children who have died because of his drone policies. So if you're still in town, join us at 7 p.m. in Herndon, Virginia. The park right near his house is actually called Frying Pan Park. So we're going to be there at 7, and then we're going to proceed a couple blocks down the road and show up at his front door and let him know that we plan to hold him accountable. In the meantime, we've got letter writing campaigns happening where we've got lots of different communities signing on their opposition to his nomination. The legal community, people from Pakistan and Yemen, former military and government personnel, and many, many more. And we have a petition on our website, codepink.org, that you can sign, calling on the Senate Intelligence Committee to reject the nomination of John Brennan. So come see me if you want to find out more information about Tuesday, but I urge you all to take action because this is a critical, critical issue, and we cannot let that war criminal be in charge of one of the most covert killing programs in the entire world. Thank you.